Hello everyone, can you all hear me? If someone can please type in that they can hear me, we can get going. Yay, Yana can hear me. Cool, thanks Yana. Well, I'm assuming everyone else can hear me. If someone cannot hear me, they can't tell me. Anyway, let's get started. So thank you so much for being here. I'd like to welcome all these lovely pharmacists we have on board today. So perhaps I think it's time that I should just tell something about myself. So my name is Neha and I run sum and substance bookkeeping services. In our practice, we provide bookkeeping training, as well as virtual CFO services. The main aim of the business has been to make sure that the business owners do understand their financials. It's not just about compliance, lodging your taxes, BASs. Yes, that's all in good. But having been enabled to use those financials to actually make informed decisions is the key, is what we are here for. And that's why my business exists. So basically, understanding your own financial story. Beautiful. I'll now share slides, or should we wait for 2 minutes? Perhaps some more people might join in. What do you think, guys? Can someone put a message? Can we wait for 2 minutes, you reckon? Cool. Okay. So throughout the webinar today, we're going to have some slides and some screen sharing of Xero, how it works. Cool. So I'll start with the slide. Let's get started. Okay. So, the main aim today is to find out how you guys can improve your accounting using Xero. Let me clarify, I'm not a Xero reseller, but I do love Xero for pharmacists. I think it is a really good system. Moving on. So what we're going to cover today, the content for today is why should we use Xero? Why is it all about, big hoo-ha on Xero? How connected or integrated app can help different functions and can help improve the usability of Xero. Then why should we have a business plan and how can that link with Xero? Understanding financials, every business needs financial, but what are the financials that are important for a pharmacist? So that's what we're going to cover. Moving on, we've got cash flow. We'll be covering some forecasting and planning, internal processes and control, which are super essential to make sure everything runs nicely. And then we'll have a bit of summary and questions. Now, we will have questions at the end, but during the session, if anyone has any questions, you are most welcome to type in. And if the time allows, we will respond to those as we go. Cool. So let's go to our first slide. So why Xero? So why is Xero so good and so important for the businesses today, and especially for the pharmacists? It's visual, you can actually see without even doing anything. When you look at the dashboard, you can actually get so much information out of it. There's a phone app. All the business owners these days and entrepreneurs, they want the information on their phones and then business dashboard. So I will share my Xero screen now, where I'll explain a bit more what I'm talking about. So we'll stop sharing with this one, and then we start sharing our Xero. Cool. Sorry guys, there's a bit of a system issue there. Sorry, bear with me please. Cool. Apologies for that. There's my share. Cool. Okay. So So when I'm talking about the visual this is what I'm talking about, that straight away when I go to the dashboard, I know my savings account has got $6,800. I don't need to log on to the bank. I've got money into my business bank account. I can look at the cash flow. So if you look here, can everyone see the screen, please? Do you guys want to make sure you're looking at the screen? Awesome. Cool. So if you click on here, you can actually see in the month of March, you had 13,000 in, 14,000 out, and you're like, okay, I want to see what it includes. So you can actually drill down. You can click on that bar and get the description of which account the money came in and how much, which account the money went out and how much. And you can again click on that and see where the money is coming in from, going out from. This is really good because even though someone else, even if someone else is doing your books, you still as a business owner need to be involved and keep an eye on where the money is going out and money coming in. I get this question so many times by the clients, like, you know, we work so hard, but where's the money going out? I'm sure a lot of you relate to that. So those are the little things, you know, that can help tell you. And then if something doesn't sound right, by all means, talk to your advisor or bookkeeper or, you know, whoever you use. The other good thing about the visual thing is a bit of planning. So you can actually see, if you have any account clients, you can actually see who owe you money. So you can actually go straight away that, oh, these 10 cheeky account clients haven't paid. So we go there and you put the information in there. You know, you get the information of who owes you money. Likewise, you can see the payables. You know, you can go and see how many people you have to pay next month, so you are prepared from your cash flow perspective. So, you know, that dashboard and that visibility on the phone is pretty cool. You can see, so the Xero subscription comes with the Xero app and it's free with every subscription. You can actually see the entire dashboard on your phone and drill down on the phone as well. So it is pretty cool, isn't it? Beautiful. Let's go to our slides and talk a bit more. Cool. So other than this, you know, being visual and you can look at different things, the phone app is also good for communication with your staff. So like your staff can put the leaves there and you can approve it on the phone. So all in all, you can do a lot just on your phone. So you don't even need to turn on the computer and you'll get some information. So moving on to the next slide. Sorry, there's a question there. I'll quickly check if we are going to answer it now. Give me a minute, please. Cool. Okay. There we go. Oh, okay, sure, Yana. So Yana has asked a good question. She says, what's the app? They can only find Xero Me. No, there is an app called Xero Accounting. So if you go to your app store, whatever smartphone you've got, there's one called Xero Accounting and Invoicing. So basically, I'll show you now. Let me see if I can show you on the screen. So this is how it would look like. Can you see that, Yana? So this has got everything in there, the bank accounts, cash flow, receivables, perfect. So it's got, awesome. Don't we like it? We solved the problem straight away. Beautiful. So this is pretty cool. All right, moving on to the connected apps. Xero in itself is a very powerful system, but we want to utilize it to its fullest. We want to make sure whatever $60, $70 we're paying to Xero, we take the maximum advantage. But to take that maximum advantage, there's ties, yeah? Like in any business, there's one function, but there's quite a related functions. So for a pharmacy, point of sale is really crucial, a good point of sale. So when you select your point of sale, there's so many decisions to be made. You can go for a desktop version, cloud. Ideally, you would have a cloud point of sale which would integrate with your accounting system. Even now, we have so many clients who are on cloud, where we use the point of sale reports to enter the information into Xero or your other accounting system if people are using other. But that's not ideal. That's still manual. I mean, if that's not possible, at least we've got that solution. That's at least we've got something that we can work with. But I know that there's some really cool ones there. Fred, my clients love Fred and Z software. Those are the two really popular amongst my clientele. But there's one, RX1, who actually have now integrated with Xero. So whatever sales report is happening every day, the data is going into Xero. What it does is it ensures that all your sales data is feeding in, and when you get the report, because you like the only profit and loss report that comes out of a system is the whole business, but you don't want to see the whole, like you want to see the whole business, but you also want to see the item profitability. So if you have those sort of integrations, you can actually see how much you're making on, the pharmaceutical sales, how much is non-pharmaceutical sales, which item is, running at a loss, and which item is running at a profit. To make those decisions, you need a good point of sale system. And ideally, as I said before, it would talk to your accounting system. That would be so cool. You can, as I said to my pharmacist clients as well, you can have something, intermittently, like like a temporary solution, but then you can go, you can have that as a goal. That, okay, I need this much budget, because these systems won't be, it will pay for itself in the long term. But when we set these things up, sometimes they can be expensive, and you can then work towards it. All right, you work out how much it's going to cost. Okay, I'll do that in 6 months' time. But again, you need to understand the benefits that it's going to give you. Can you imagine having all those reports on your phone and making, someone's asking you to make a decision? You don't have to talk to, a lot of people. You just make sure your data is correct, your entries are correct, and you're getting the correct result to make that decision. So any questions so far, guys? Cool. I can't see any coming in. So we'll move on to the next one, the next app. Awesome. Payroll. Oh my God, I have to share this with you guys. My first pharmacist client was was doing payroll by checks, and doing the pay slips manually, and end of year, oh my God, poor thing, he had 15 staff members. So paying everyone by check, I felt for him so much, but we obviously helped him change those ways. So we put him on Xero, and we also, put all the rates in Xero itself. So it wasn't a big deal in 6 months' time when the rates were updated. And we did make sure that Xero was talking to his NAB bank account, and all the payments were going in one click. Everything was paid, one click, pay slip sent, so much easier. He is so happy. Anyway, let's make you guys happy. So going to payroll, again, you have a choice. You can use Xero inbuilt one, which is a pretty good payroll module, or you connect to something like a WageLock or, Royster or something like that, which is like a rostering system. And that way the timesheets go directly into Xero. So really once that's set up, there is not much need of work. So it'll do a lot of things on its own. So when I say rate setup is because, pharmacists have different rates for Saturday, Sunday, weekdays, then they have break rates, then they have, then there is rates for junior staff, everyone's got different rates. So ideally you would be able to set those up, on the back end of your payroll, and I'll show you those things, just, a bit of those things after I talk. And then, then setting up those against staff members' names, and then being able to batch the payments in one group rather than paying everyone individually, saving time. So Xero also makes a lot of compliance work easy, superannuation work cover. I'm going to share now my Xero screen with you guys to show how this can work. Let's go to our Xero screen. Awesome. Okay, so payroll, this is our overview. Here, you'd be able to see everything about payroll that you need to action. So any leave request, any timesheet that comes, you should be able to see here. You will also, as a manager or as an advisor, you will also you can also do it on the phone, as I mentioned before. So you basically got leaves to approve. You can click on leave. You can approve or reject with a note saying, we don't have coverage, so can you not take, can you, change the annual leave or something, or you can, if it is okay, you just approve it. So and like, you don't even have to be in the pharmacist, because I know that as pharmacists, a lot of pharmacists have more than one pharmacy. So they can't be everywhere at the same time. So having something like this is really handy. Then if your staff member uses Xero to enter timesheets, they will be sitting here, and you can basically look into the times and approve or disapprove, or ask them to edit the timesheet. So that all in all is pretty good. When I was talking about batching the payments, so whoever set up your payroll, or whoever, if you need help, we can help you as well. But it's not about marketing here. Sorry about that. So you can actually, once it's connected, all you do is, once the payroll is posted, you can actually download the ABA file. And once it's downloaded, you upload it into the bank and approve it, and it's done. It's that simple. And you basically create email. You can email payslips from here. Once you've emailed the payslips, it's gone. Job's done. Super is also made very easy. Unfortunately, in the demo version, I probably can't show you, but what I can show you is, if you have any questions about automatic super payment, send me an email and I can send you some notes on those, not a problem. So if you click on super, normally it will come up with a quarterly super if it is set up correctly. This one, because it's the demo version, they don't do it on the demo version, but there will be super for the quarter. It'll get connected to your bank account you choose, and then after you approved it, within 3 to 4 days, they take the money, it's gone to the super clearinghouse, and it's done. As you all must know that the super, it's compulsory now to pay super by super clearinghouse. The days to pay superannuation by checks, it's all gone. We don't do that anymore. I also would like to show you some reports for payroll, which can be very handy for you guys as business owners, plus for compliance. Talking about compliance, book cover. So the last session of the report is the payroll reports, and you can actually have payroll employee summary. And you can do this financial year, last financial year, whenever. And in your work cover, when you lodge work cover lodgements, you can actually just get the figures from here. So this is your gross wages, your tax, your super. This is what you pay, net pay in cash, in money terms. The other reports which are super useful and my clients love those are things like leave balances, just trying to understand, you know, how much leave each staff member has in terms of money. Because if one of the staff decides to leave, that way at least you know that you are up for $2,200, you know, if this guy leaves. So just going back to the same point, the idea of this webinar is to understand Xero in a way to use in your business in an efficient manner. So you plan proactively, not reactively, but these are the little tools which will help you. Awesome. Let's go back to our slides. There are the slides. Cool. So any questions anyone have for payroll? I'll wait for 2 minutes while I have a little drink. Okay, I haven't got any questions, so I'm assuming everyone's cool with it. So whether you use Xero or you use an app, it's only going to make your life easier. And you know, you can start with using Xero. You can start using only Xero payroll app and then move on to a connected app. So, sorry, I've just got a message here. Ruth, only just managed to connect. Slow slide. It's all right, Ruth. Cool. Okay, I'll answer you now. Ruth, can you hear me? Okay. So Ruth, your first question is that you just started. That's fine. We will send you the link to the webinar and you can view it at your ease after, or to all the participants. Now, does it show the components of individual people for work cover? You mean for the, so can you elaborate that question? Is that what, so what you mean is the subcontractors and all of that? Is that what you mean? Let's go back to Xero as well. So Ruth asked, does the payroll report in Xero show components of individual people for work cover figures? So parts of each example, unused leaves that don't attract work cover. Correct, correct. That's right. So the payroll report that I showed, that's actually the wages paid. So that's the report work cover is after. Those are the figures the work cover is after, not the unused leave, because that's your liability. You haven't paid it yet. Does that answer your question? Okay, no. Right, okay. Ruth, what I might do is I might send you an email because this is a bit of a detailed answer I'll have to give you on that one. Is that okay with you? So, because you're running short of time otherwise. Cool, we'll moving on to the next topic, but Ruth asked a wonderful question and I'll email Ruth separately on that one. Cool, expenses. So it is important, again, to have all the expenses and bills entered into your accounting system correctly. The biggest issue that we've seen is bills getting missed, receipts getting missed because one pharmacist have more than one pharmacy, or the Sigma one is a big example because they pay a lot of other expenses as well other than just medicines or purchases, or other than just the material. They pay marketing and all of that. So a lot of times when we start with a new client, we see that historically they've always put that under one bulk purchase. They haven't divided it. So that's really important to do. So what we recommend is you can either enter all the bills manually if you have manpower and time. You can also use Xero app to enter receipts. And Receipt Bank. Receipt Bank is a really, really good app, and it's not super expensive. So it connects to Xero. So anytime you receive a bill, you forward this email to this dedicated email address, or it also has a phone app. You can actually take a photo, and the bill goes straight into Xero. It does need a bit of setup, but once it's set up, it works so smoothly. Bills go straight in there. You check that, you approve those, and you pay those from your Xero. Just like we did the batch payments of payroll, you can actually do batch bill payments through Xero as well. That way, you're saving time. You know, you're not paying individual bill different times. You can just batch it up and put it into the bank. Cool. Xero Expense Claim is a really good app as well. What it does is, so for example, if you are in Gold Coast and you know, on a conference, so you're obviously spending money there. So instead of, you know, getting worried that you'll lose the receipt, you basically can take a photo of the, you know, of the receipt and put it through the expense claim. And I'll show you that quickly when I share you the share Xero screen with you. Let's have a look. Share screen. Cool. So we go here, and when you go down the bottom, you can see expense claim. These are all the expense claims that actually come from your phone app. You can enter them through a computer, but it is an app on the phone as well. So let me see how best I can show this to you on the phone. So I've got this demo company on my phone. All you need to do is there's a plus button here. You click on plus, and then you have got all these options. You click on add the receipt, and then you get all these options. Where did you buy it from? Which account? What was that for? And after all of that, it asks you to attach a file, take a photo. So you're actually able to take a photo of your receipt there and then. As soon as that gets processed through phone app, it goes into expense claim. That way, you don't miss paying yourself, or, you know, if you've got a staff member who you send out and about and they want to claim, so you can actually put on their phones as well. So hopefully that's handy to most of you. When I was talking about Receipt Bank and having the bills getting straight in here, if you go, so they actually live here, accounts, you go to purchases, and all your bills are living here. So you can actually then have a look at those, the ones that are ready approval. And if you're happy with them, then you can just approve those. So there's a good control mechanism here as well. Again, I guess the idea is to save time, use efficient systems, and making sure we don't miss anything, but we don't spend too much time on things that are not super useful. Let's go back to our slides. Okay. Moving on to business reporting. Business reporting is my favorite kind of topic because, as I said before, it is important for business owners to know the financial story of their business. And you are the business owners, pharmacists. You need to you will write the financial story of your own business. In today's world, you do need to make decisions quickly. The way, you know, like you could have a decision, like, you know, you could have an offer to purchase another pharmacy. You could be deciding of whether to buy this product line or stop. on what basis are you making those decisions? So you need the correct reports. But to get to that correct report, the data integrity of your books is super important. So that's why I do lay importance on real-time reporting. So when I say real-time reporting, I mean, if I'm using a sophisticated system and sophisticated apps, I should be getting my profit and loss as of today. Yes, as of today, so I can make my decisions. Days are gone when we did rely on historical data. Yes, historical data is important to make our comparisons, but I need real-time reporting to make my decisions in time and correctly. So I don't want to make decisions just on, on the whims or on the feelings. Again, the results are on the phone. So again, you can use the inbuilt Xero reporting, or you can have something like my own CFO is the one that I like, because they've got phone app and everything. Spotlight reporting, Futurely. Again, there's so many, but again, you need to think what you need, and probably the best place to start is using the Xero inbuilt ones, and then moving on, once you're sure what you want, and then seeing each app, what they provide, and then making a decision. Cool. Let's have a look at the Xero reporting. Cool. Let's share. There is. Cool. Okay. So first of all, cool. So first of all, when we go to payroll, the reports, you can have your favorite reports here. So there's normally a few reports which I think are really important for a business owner, and in specific to pharmacists today, because they are special today here. Your basic profit and loss in a way that is easy to understand. Your balance sheet, then your receivables, if you do have account clients, your payables, people you're paying bills to, your cash summary, and and then your ratios. So let's move on to profit and loss, which is favorite report of quite a few business owners. We go to profit and loss. Cool. So normally the profit and loss that Xero has can be a bit boring. We have to make it interesting, okay? So this is all your sales, and then these are the purchases. These are all your medicines that you buy. This is the purchases and has the direct cost of what you're selling. And then you've got all these operating expenses, the expenses that you need to operate your business. What we like to do is we go here, layout options. You can either edit this layout yourself. You can have groupings and all of that. Or you can get someone to do it for you if you don't have time. So I'll use the one that I have already got for my clients. So the idea here is basically to have categorization. So for example, I want to see how much are my administrative expenses, how much is my advertising and business development expenses. So it's actually giving me expenses with the categorization, which gives me, as a business owner, I don't have time to see, oh my God, how much, is cleaning and how much is this and that. But you want to look at big picture. You are a big picture person because this is your business. You want to grow it. And you want to just make sure those big picture expenses are contained. But again, you don't want to be, looking at 5 cents and stuff, So that's okay. So I guess the next thing what I want to share is which reports that we look for. So it's a great idea to do like a monthly report. So for example, if you're in May, I want to compare, it with previous 7 months and see my yearly pattern. This demo company doesn't have much data, unfortunately, but this normally gives a good trend. You can actually see if you're going up if something's going strange. And then you can find out, like sometimes it could be a valid reason. You could be doing renovations, but as long as you can justify that financial result with the real time happening in your life, in your business life, that's good enough. The other report that I do is same with the profit and loss. The good one is looking at previous year, because a lot of time what happens is every business has seasonality, and to prove that financially is a great idea. So you can actually look at the previous year. You can look at, okay, May 2018, this was the result. It was a bit low. Let me check what happened last year. And last year might be low as well. And that could be a seasonality thing, that May is that kind of a month. And then you can actually use that result to plan. You can think of selling something which would sell in the month of May. You know better than I do about pharmacy. I just know numbers. So that sort of thing, that's why it is so important to have correct data and correct reporting. Now, the other good thing is you can actually have cash basis report. A lot of times, I send a report to a client and they say, oh, but we didn't pay that much. Because profit and loss is not only on cash basis. A normal profit and loss is on the basis of the date of the bill. For example, sorry if I confuse you guys, but for example, if I've received a bill, I don't have a bill here, but if I've received, an accounting bill for $5,000 today, but I'm going to pay it in June, a normal profit and loss will have that $5,000 in May. But when I click on the cash basis and do a cash profit and loss, that will show me that expense in June. So it depends what you want to get. Do you want to see cash profit and loss versus your normal profit and loss? So those are the sort of things that you need to look at. But Xero does have the tools to provide all of that. So decide what you need and do it. And then we go on to balance sheet. Why is balance sheet important? It's important to have a look at balance sheet, mainly to have a look at how many assets you've got and what's your liability. So liability is, your GST, your income tax, your bills, your 𝐕𝐲𝐬𝐬 withholding. So 𝐕𝐲𝐬𝐬 withholding is the tax, I'm sure you guys know, but the tax we withhold from staff's payroll. So, those are our liabilities, whereas our assets are fixed assets, the furniture, the computer, the bank account balance, all of those are our bank, the loan, that's a liability. So that's a good bit of scan through of your assets and liabilities. That's why balance sheet is important. There is aged payable report, which will show you the bills that you owe to people. The good thing, come on, buddy. The good thing is you can actually have your expense claim, like I was talking about expense claim. You can have all your expense claims here. So for example, if someone had submitted their expense claim, you would have had a name, say, Miss Lara, we owe her $40 for, client lunch or dinner or whatever, or conference lunch, You can then click on show invoices if you want to have a look at the invoice dates and stuff in that report. So that's a good report. My pharmacists love it. Now, what I would ideally, like you guys to do is when you sit down after this webinar, have a look, go to this section of reports. Now, whichever report there's a star against, it's going to show it in the favorites. So whatever reports you think are important for your business, you can make those favorites. So I'm going to make age receivables favorite, although I know that not a lot of pharmacies, the cash clients are more than the account clients, but you can go in here, you can, have a look at the people who haven't paid. You can, send them reminders and do lots of other things. One other report that I'll talk before we move to the next slide is the cash summary. Cash summary is really telling us, oh, I've got a question. I'll come to that in a minute, please. So this is basically telling us where, we've got money in from, which mode, and which mode the money is going out. So this is a real cash flow in and out. This will have balance sheet and profit and loss items. Cool. I will quickly look at, there was a question, I think. Oh, good question. So Jana's asked a question, okay, if we can do car kilometers for expense claim. Jana, it's a very good question. I will come back to you at the end in our question rounds, because this is more related to payroll than expense claim. So give me just a moment to get through the slides. I hope that's okay with you. Cool. Okay. Beautiful. Moving on to the next slide. Cool. Business planning. Why is business planning important? I, as a business owner myself, found it's like, why do I have to plan? Like, seriously? Yes, I do. After all of these years, I think business planning is really helpful. And what I like to do, coming from accounting background, I like to put business planning in financial terms. That's called a budget. So I'll give you an easier way to put the budget together, and then have that budget in your accounting software, so you can actually plan, you can actually compare at the end of the month when you're doing your profit and loss reports. You can actually have comparison with your budget. So let's go to our Xero again. I'm mindful that I think we are running slightly behind the schedule. The way I say schedule, some of my clients laugh because it's not an Aussie way of saying schedule, something like that. You guys might have a Google on that while I look for this. Okay. So what we normally do is, I normally recommend clients to go onto Budget Manager whenever that opens. You can actually export this into Excel. Once or Google Sheets. So Google Sheet is just here. That's why I just put lazy. I'll just put on the screen here. So you can actually start, you can actually have previous year's profit and loss. I would highly recommend having, perhaps last 2 years profit and loss, and then putting these figures here, or straight away putting in the Budget Manager for every item. This can be time consuming, but this will be very helpful, because you sit down, you think, all right, this year, because I've doubled the size of my shop, or because I've got 2 pharmacies, or for whatever reason, because I've got new service, my sales need to increase by 5% or whatever. You can just say it needs to be 350,000. You can then have it needs to be 350 each month. So this is forecasting, this is your budget, this is what you want your 18, 19 to be. 17, 18 is nearly gone. But for 18, 19, I would highly recommend people to use budget. So you put all your figures in Budget Manager, you save it. Once it's all there, you can actually, so you basically save it. If you don't save it, you'll lose it. Then you can, on a monthly basis, we do recommend clients to definitely have a look at the report at least once a month on the computer. And then on the phone, they're looking at it every day, hopefully. So then you just click on Budget Variance. Budget Variance is a great report. This is something you might want to make your favorite. So if I had on my budget that I want 350,000 and I've earned quite less, I need to look into, like, this is a serious problem. I'm sure this will never happen to you guys. But those sort of things are important to see as to what went wrong, and if it's higher, what did you do differently this month to previous months? and make sure we do it every month so we can have higher sales every month. So budget variance, again, it's like a report card. I don't know, I had report cards when I was little to see what, how many grades I have. So this is our business report card. So budget variance would be really great. Moving on to the slides. Where are the slides? Cool. Moving on to our next slide, which is, again, understanding financials. I will be a bit quicker with this one so we can do the other slides as well, because we've touched reporting quite a few times. So in your financials, what I see is you need to understand your financials is vital. But what financials, again, you're looking at. So what we sometimes do is, yes, you look at all those 6 reports that we just spoke about. We can actually have like a summary in a ratio. Again, we will be doing a webinar soon on financials for pharmacists, which would cover more around ratios. But I'll give you a little snapshot in Xero. So it is important for pharmacists and for any business owner to make sure that, some of the ratios are positive. And let's go here. So we can see, we have to go to all reports to find our report that I'm looking for. And let's go to business performance. Business performance is a report we're looking for. And it doesn't become favorite. Anyway, so once we have this window up, so for example, current ratio is important. So what current ratio tells us, I'll give you a brief on that, and then we'll go into detail next time. Current ratio is really comparing my current assets with current liabilities. So if it's more than 1, that means, okay, I have got more assets than liabilities. We want assets more than liabilities. Is that right? Because we want to be positive. We want to have more money than we want to owe other people. So ideally, we should have that ratio at 2, but, a bit more than 1 is okay as well. It's not ideal, but 2 is good. Anyway, whatever ratios I like here, and I want to see it on my dashboard, I make it favorite, and I go to dashboard, and guess what? It'll be right there on, come on, business performance. Did I save? Oh, maybe I didn't save. All right, let's go back. This was a bit embarrassing. Cool. Business performance. Cool. Yeah, see, this says start item with appear on dashboard. What's going on with Xero today? Worked all right when I practiced. Let's do edit dashboard. Maybe it's hiding somewhere. There you go, yay. So maybe I just need to be more patient. So if you see business performance, you can see all your current ratio, your return on investment, which is important for a business owner to know. It's right there. So going back again, if your data is good, these things are awesome. But, again, everything relies on integrity and perfection of your data. Let's go back to our slides and talk about cash flow. Cool. Cash flow planning is important, basically because we want to make sure that when it comes time for BAS, mostly pharmacies have a refund, depends on everyone's situation, or when it comes time to pay, your big bills, Sigma, or, bigger purchases, DHL, anything like that, that you have money. But you need right tools to have that. So anyway, how do we do forecasting? The easiest way I find for my pharmacist clients is to go again, let's go back to Xero. Where are you, Xero? Cool. And go to that report that we're talking about, the cash summary report. This is again like a budget, but here we are budgeting not for the financials, we're budgeting for cash, the money. So I would say export this into Excel and again, you know, have short term, like say for next 6 months, July, August, September, like do it in June for following 6 months, do it in December for again following 6 months. So in July, start, you will know if you look at this report, cash summary, and then you can actually compare. Say for example, if I want to do July 18, so let's go December 17, and I'm going to compare it with previous 5 periods. So it will give me cash flow data of July 17 to December 17. So I can take that as my base and see what's coming. And here you can see what months you've been paying. And normally year by year, it's the same kind of expenses. But say, for example, if you've hired a business coach and you need to put their expense, you need to know how much. So you can export the cash summary, put those expenses in, and that will become your cash flow forecasting and planning tool. And then keeping an eye, you know, that whether the bank balance is actually matching what you expected, and if not, why. So those sort of things are really useful for you guys as business owners and pharmacists to make sure we are solvent and a stable business, which I'm sure you guys are. But these are just little tools that I dare to show you. Okay, moving on. Internal processes and controls. For any system to work properly, our internal processes and control needs to work as well. If you have everything else and internal processes and control are not good, I want to know if there was a theft. I wouldn't know if someone entered a fake bill. How am I supposed to know? So these are the 2 things which I have seen in a retail type of business, in pharmacists in particular. If you don't have these controls, I'm not saying every time it happens to everyone, but there's a likelihood of having these problems. So to have a control, I think it is vital to have a separate person to enter the bill and a different person to approve and then a different person to pay the bills. It might look too much, but if you really think about it, you have the junior staff to enter the bill, and then you have the manager to approve it because they can then double check the account details and everything. And then basically you're paying it again, you know, if you're using batching of the bills, paying in one go through the bank, you'll be fine. You will have no issues at all. Moving on to the next one, cash embezzlement. Now, this has happened in real life, that someone has actually, you know, purchased medicine, paid cash, and then went on to do their stuff. And this person who was on the cash thing, they adjusted the sale as if the sale never happened. But if we have a different person checking those things, the adjustments, those variances at the end of the day, this will stop. So this is not the end of the internal processes, but these are the 2 main ones which I have seen in my work experience, which is why I thought it was important and timely to bring this on with you guys. So this is a bit of a conclusion. So, you know, balancing your pharmacist role and entrepreneur role is the key to winning the growth of your business. And I really, really hope and wish you all have, you know, your businesses grow. We might want to do, if you guys have any questions, we can go on. Ruth, I will email you your question. Before we can go on to Yana's question, is there anyone who wants to ask a question, please? While I have a little drink. Okay. While you guys think, I think I could possibly answer Jana's question now. It's a quick one. So Jana, so your question was, in terms of expenses, we do deliveries to clients. Cool. Is there a way for staff to enter their car kilometers for expense claim? So, remember I was talking about the Xero app for payroll. Not sure if you guys use it. So in that, you can actually have, so connected to the staff member, you can actually have a payroll item called travel allowance. The car kilometers should be paid as a travel allowance. It's normally paid at around, I'm not sure what you guys are paying, but it's normally 66 to 68 cents per kilometer. And whatever, we can change it on, on the back end of your payroll setting, and they can enter how many kilometers they've traveled. So you don't need a separate expense claim for that. Did that answer your question, Jana? Cool. Beautiful. Oh my God, we are in time. So that's in 𝐍𝐞𝐿, correct. But to use that, the payroll setting needs to be, I won't say fixed, but there needs to be a few things to be done in the payroll settings to make that happen. Cool? Awesome. Beautiful. Guys, anyone else with questions? Would love to help you with anything. Use me now if there's any questions. Awesome. So there's, one more. Yay, go. Cool. Jana's writing one more question while I talk, because I can't stop talking. So there's a link to the recording. We'll send it to everyone, all the participants who weren't able to attend and who have attended. Again, if you've got any questions, you're most welcome to send me an email. Thank you. So Jana has got question. Reconciling Medicare payments. Does he get paid nowadays? Hang on, Jana. Sorry. Okay, Jana, I think I need to email you on that one. Again, that's a bit of a discussion question than a webinar direct answer. Is that okay with you, Jana? I'll move on to, I like that answer. Thought so. Yeah, good. All right. So Simon's asked a question. Let's say I have two different businesses. Can I use the same Xero account? Very good question, Simon. Correct, you can. As long as they have same ABNs. Are they with different ABNs or same ABNs? Oh, different ABNs. See, you will have to use different. I'm sorry, I'm afraid. So yeah, it'll have to be different Xeros. Now, if if, for example, if there is a business which does not use payroll or invoicing, there's a Xero cash book available as well, which is available through your advisor. So I don't know if you want to go have one full Xero and one Xero like that with just cash book, which will just do your reconciliation and have financials. But with different ABNs, it's definitely, because there's going to be different tax returns, different BASs. I hope that answers your question, Simon. Anyone else with questions? No worries, Simon, you're most welcome. All right, guys, just in time. We've still got 1 minute. If anyone has any questions, would love to answer. Okay. Beautiful. We will send you the link to YouTube perhaps by Monday or sometime early next week. And in the meanwhile, if you've got any questions or any feedback on the webinar today, I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much for your time. I'm really grateful for you being here with me. Thanks, Yana. Thank you. You've been very kind. All right, guys. Thank you very much and all the best. I hope your business rock and you guys rock too. Beautiful. Thank you. No worries. Thanks, Ruth. Sure, Yana. Bye. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, everyone. Great weekend. Thank you.